Welcome back to Top 10 Mocks of the Week, brought to you by BrickVault. Last time I forgot to introduce myself, so let's fix that. My name is Lucky, I'm the developer behind OpenStuds and BrickVault. With David and me co-hosting Top 10, we are hoping to get back to a somewhat weekly schedule again. Before we start, as usual, a quick shout out to BrickVault.toys, our online store for high-grade quality assured mock instructions. Every mock we release is hand-built by us before launch, and the instructions are carefully checked for both readability and parts availability. We just launched a new budget-friendly U-Wing designed by Noppingrid. The full build costs around $60 in parts, making it a great entry point if you want a display-worthy Star Wars mock without spending a fortune. It's compact, affordable, and fits perfectly in almost any display case. And of course, every purchase helps support the channel. At number 10 we have Treebeard by Brickophilia. We are starting the list with a relative small build, but it definitely doesn't lack detail. Most of the detail is concentrated in the face. The builder uses cat eye elements placed sideways, which is a clever way to communicate those tired ancient eyes that Treebeard is known for. The beard is another highlight. Instead of relying on straight lines or repeating patterns, the builder avoids right angles almost completely. This creates a much more natural, chaotic look that fits a character made of wood and roots. Another interesting aspect is the lack of repetition across the model. Many organic builds end up repeating small sections, but here almost every part feels unique. Even the feet are built differently from each other, which helps the character feel more alive and less like a mirrored design. Despite its smaller scale, the shaping of the body still works well. Torso remains fairly simple, but that simplicity helps the detailed head and beard stand out even more. Overall, it's a compact but very thoughtful character build, full of small techniques and clever part usage, a great way to start a list. Number 9 is Working Retro Toaster by Bricks on Set. Yes, it actually works. Right away you can see the retro styling inspired by classic toasters from the 60s. The build mainly relies on snot techniques to achieve the smooth outer surfaces, with one tasteful, pun intended, exception: the toast pieces themselves. The real star of this mock is definitely the mechanism. Each toaster piece has one brown side and one white side. When you push the lever down, the entire toast flips internally and then pops back up when you press the button. The designer also went the extra mile by adding lighting inside the mock, which gives the build an extra touch of realism. A fun concept, clever engineering, and very clean building techniques makes this a memorable entry at number 9. Number 8 brings us back to a familiar name on the list, Panoda. If you didn't watch my last top 10 mocks of the week, Panoda specializes in building liminal spaces. These scenes feel strangely unsettling because they look very real yet somehow not real at the same time. Technically, the build is extremely clean. Panoda uses trans-clear tiles with different color bricks placed behind them to create subtle lighting effects on the floor and walls. There's even a trans-clear crystal ball used as a lamp, which fits perfectly with the strange, almost artificial lighting typical for liminal spaces. One thing I'm not entirely sure about is the object in the right corner. It's either a water fountain or a toilet. Both feel slightly wrong in this place, but that's exactly why it works so well. I'd also love to see a behind-the-scenes photo of this build. I'm not completely sure whether the structure is physically repeated or digitally mirrored to create the endless effect. It's a very clean and carefully designed build that captures the unsettling beauty of liminal architecture surprisingly well. Number 7 is the Dark Magician Girl from Yu-Gi-Oh! Built by God Turtle Bricks. One of the standout features is definitely the hair. The shaping works surprisingly well and gives the character a lot of personality from the distance. Structurally, I do find myself wondering how sturdy the model is. With so many curved elements and angled sections, it looks impressive but also a bit delicate. Technically, the build uses a nice balance between round snot techniques and more traditional Lego tiling. Some studs are intentionally left visible, which helps the model keep that recognizable Lego aesthetic instead of trying to hide every connection. There are also 4, let's just call them major arguments that certainly make this mock stand out. From a design perspective though, the shaping, color blocking and use of curved elements are what really carried the build. Overall, it's a bold character recreation and technically interesting mix of sculpting techniques that earns it the place at number 7. Number 6 is Whimsical Kiss by Noble Studs. The first thing that stands out here is the feathers. The builder uses large leaf elements to form wings and body, which gives the bird a very natural texture. That idea is reinforced by smaller leaves used around the face, tying the whole model back to a nature-inspired design. Around the flower, we also see some nicely placed berries, which add extra color and a bit more depth to the composition. The flower itself is another highlight. The technique used to construct it is quite clever and creates a layered, organic shape that works very well with the hummingbird. The white leaves are also used thoughtfully. They visually connect the hummingbird with the flower, helping the entire composition feel like a single cohesive scene rather than a separate elements. Even the tree stump the bird is sitting on includes some nice details. For example, the small tube connections along the outside add subtle textures to keep the base from feeling too plain. Overall, it's a carefully designed nature build with strong parts usage and a lot of attention to small details. Number 5 is Call of Adventure by Galaxy Brickworks. From afar, it almost doesn't look like it's made of Lego. The realism is striking. The towers are built using a clever mix of unusual parts, including minifig heads, boomerangs, bicycle grips, and the unique kitty tail pieces from the Lego movie, giving them unique texture and character. The build also makes extensive use of the undersides of bricks, which adds extra depth and complexity. One feature that really connects the structure to its surrounding is a tree growing out of the base. Even the surrounding trees are carefully constructed, complementing the main scene. Central Asian architecture is underrepresented in Lego, and this build does an excellent job of capturing its distinctive style with thoughtful part usage and intricate details. Listing all the features will take the whole video, so be sure to check it out yourself in the description below. Number 4 is Dexter's Dino Hub, a recreation from the first Lego Star Wars video game. It was designed by Anakin 2001 and built by Dude with Hearing Aids. This mock brings back a lot of nostalgia for me. Every minikit set is placed exactly where it appears in the game, showing the builder's attention to detail. The overall scene is very close to the original game, capturing both the look and the feel of the dino. I especially love how all the small details were captured, like the purchasable characters and the cheats menu behind Dexter. It's a little sad that the dino can't really be experienced anymore, since the original game is no longer available. It was merged into the complete saga, where the dino no longer functions as the main hub. So if you have a copy of the original game lying around, take care of it. Beyond the build itself, the composition is very tasteful. All the figures are positioned thoughtfully, making the scene feel alive and complete. It's a great example of turning a digital memory into a physical Lego experience. Number 3 is an Elven-inspired architecture built by Circus Robot, drawing heavily from the Lord of the Rings aesthetics. This mock is a perfect example of how incredible detail doesn't require a massive build. The designer uses small elements thoughtful to create depth and character. The archways at the top are particularly well done. Normally I'm not a big fan of that piece because it can look a bit clunky, but here it somehow works perfectly. The way it's integrated into the structure makes it feel more elegant and natural than it usually does. The altar is a standout feature. It looks intricate and almost ceremonial, giving the build a strong focal point. Another subtle but effective touch is the color variation on the walls. The slight mismatch adds texture and atmosphere, making the space feel lived in and realistic. Part usage throughout the build is smart and creative. Every piece seems intentional, contributing to the overall harmony of the Elven-inspired design. It's a compact but highly detailed and visually striking mock. Number 2 is something that almost pushes the definition of Lego build. It's The Lady in Red by Land. At this point you almost have to ask, can you even still call it a Lego model? Because what we are looking at here is essentially Lego fashion, which is a pretty wild concept on its own. Land is actually well known for this intricate dress builds. If you enjoy this kind of Lego fashion, definitely check out more of her work in the description. The build is a full red dress constructed from Lego elements, combining flower pieces with Ninjago swords to create flowing patterns and textures across the fabric-like surface. What makes this even more impressive is that it's not just for display. The dress is apparently stable enough to be actually worn, which takes the idea far beyond a normal sculpture. There's even a matching hat designed to go with it, completing the entire outfit. And honestly, if you show up at LEGO convention wearing this, you probably won't need anything else, except what's coming at number 1. Number 1 is the gigantic Halo sniper rifle built by Nick Brick Builds. The scale alone is impressive. This thing is huge and yet still manages to capture the shape and proportions of the Halo sniper rifle extremely well. But it's not just a big static model. The rifle actually has several working features. It's reloadable and the bolt even appears to move, which adds a nice mechanical aspect to the build. The fire selector is also a funny detail. The builder uses the flame symbol to represent the unsafe mode, which is a clever and slightly playful touch within an otherwise very serious looking model. The builder also added lighting, which gives the model an extra level of realism. Small mechanical details are everywhere. Even chains are used as adjustable dials, which is a clever piece of part usage. At this scale, it already would have been impressive as a display piece, but the added mechanics and lighting push it to another level. It's a massive, functional and very well thought out build, an easy choice for number 1. And that wraps up the list. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.